Okay, welcome back to the Infinitely Efficient Machines Lab. In this video, we're going to be talking about Michael Faraday's first electric motor of 1822. And this is a schematic, basically, of the motor apparatus. He had basically a battery. He was using a chemical battery at the time, which was connected to a stiff wire that hung down into a mercury bath, and the mercury bath is liquid at room temperature, and it was connected basically back to the battery. When current flowed in the wire, the magnetic field that was produced around the wire would make the wire rotate around the magnet. And I'll just read a little bit of the description here. The background history. Self-taught British scientist Michael Faraday was the first to understand that if a magnetic pole could be isolated, it ought to move constantly in a circle around a current-carrying wire. In 1821, Faraday set up about trying to understand the work of Oersted and Ampere, devising his own experiment using a small mercury bath. This device, which transformed electrical energy into mechanical energy, was the first electric motor. And now that statement, this device which transformed electrical energy into mechanical energy, is a false statement. That's the nature of this video and the nature of this video channel, and I'll get into that in a second. This apparatus is the only original surviving example by Faraday the following year after his discovery in 1822. The motor features a stiff wire which hangs down into a glass vessel which has a bar magnet secured at the bottom. The glass vessel would then be partially filled with mercury, a metal that is liquid at room temperature and an excellent conductor. Faraday connected this apparatus to a battery which would send electric current through the wire, creating a magnetic field around it. This electromagnetic field interacted with the field around the bar magnet and caused the wire to rotate. This discovery led Faraday to contemplate the nature of electricity. Unlike his contemporaries, which were probably Newtonian mechanic dudes at the time, he was not convinced that electricity was a material fluid that flowed through wires like water through a pipe. And this, if you understand what the scientists of the time would have been dealing with, they would have assumed that electricity flowed through a wire like water through a pipe, and once they made that assumption, everything that they did after that was incorrect. Faraday, on the other hand, thought that electric current, was a vibration or force that was somehow transmitted as the result of tensions created in the conductor. So Faraday did not agree with and I'm assuming the Newtonian mechanics guys of the time, and who would eventually hijack his discoveries. So hijack his discoveries and put them under the umbrella of Newtonian mechanics. Again, because the only information that they had to deal with at the time was that electricity flowed in a wire-like current in a pipe of water, and and then when Lenz came up with Lenz's law, which basically is Newton's third law: for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, that just reinforced the false premise of Newtonian mechanics being able to explain electricity and magnetism. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to basically explain why Michael Faraday's first electric motor operated at infinite efficiency, and I would suggest that nobody should basically believe what I'm telling you. I mean, go ahead and recreate this extremely simple experiment and prove to yourself what I'm about to tell you. So basically, when current flowed in the wire, a magnetic field was created around the wire, and this magnetic field around the wire interacted with the magnetic field around the permanent magnet. So we have a electromagnetically induced magnetic field and a magnetic field of a magnet, and we have work being performed. We have the kinetic energy of the wire being changed, and the work energy principle states that the change in kinetic energy of an object is equal to the net work performed on that object. So anytime you have something where the kinetic energy of that object is changing, i.e. it's moving, there must be a source of energy in order to make that wire move. Now, conventional scientists will tell you that it takes work to create the magnetic field around the wire, and that's a false statement. Okay? What's actually happening with a piece of wire, if we apply Ohm's law and the power rule, the current that's flowing in the wire equals the voltage over the resistance. And the power that's dissipated in the wire, the power that's dissipated in the wire as heat, is equal to I squared R. So, the only work that's being performed by the electric energy, the current in the wire, is energy that is being converted from electrical energy to heat energy. And 100% of the energy that would have been dissipated in the wire is being dissipated as heat energy. There's no energy left if 100% of the energy is being dissipated as heat. There's no energy left in order to perform the work. The work that is being performed in Michael Faraday's original motor, as in every motor on the planet, is being performed by electromagnetic field energy, which is created. And the magnetic field energy is created for free. There is no cost associated with the production of the magnetic field, energy around the wire, and again, the wire would be dissipating heat, but the heat is not making the wire rotate. And this is very, very easy to prove. The only thing that you need to do in order to prove that the energy that's going into the wire while there's rotation is exactly the same with the magnet there as it is without the magnet. When you take the magnet away, the wire stops rotating, but the power that's dissipated in the wire is exactly the same. When you place the magnet in the mercury bath, the wire begins to rotate, the kinetic energy of the wire increases, and if we apply the work energy principle, we must assign a source of energy to the change in kinetic energy. And if 100% of our energy, that's electrical energy, which is going in, and if we apply the law of conservation of energy that says that energy can't be created or destroyed, which is completely false. The energy can't be created or destroyed, it's only converted from one form to another. The only conversion, the only energy conversion in this electric motor and every other electric motor on the planet is electrical input being converted to heat output. Every single electric motor on the planet which is in use today is essentially just a glorified induction heater. And all of the work in every electric motor is being produced, being performed by induced electromagnetic field energy which is created. And so if you are able to, first of all, understand that if 100% of the energy is being dissipated as heat, and the electrical energy that's going into the wire is it's being converted. The resistance of the wire is basically, the electrical input is performing work heating up the wire. The electrical input is not performing work converting electrical input to mechanical output. There's absolutely no connection to that. So if we go back to the statement made in the document about Michael Faraday's first electric motor, this device which transformed electrical energy into mechanical energy was the first electric motor. Okay, that's a false statement, and here's a correct statement. This device which transformed electrical energy into heat energy was the first electric motor that used induced electromagnetic field energy that's created in order to perform mechanical work. That's the basis of everything that is coming after this. The reason that I start this conversation with the law of conservation of energy. The law of conservation of energy does not apply in electromechanics. It applies in Newtonian mechanics, but there are no magnetic fields created around a pipe when water flows in it, and it's the magnetic fields that are created that are performing the work in an electric motor. And this electromagnetic field energy is energy that is created, and a careful analysis of the input energy that's converted to electrical, that's converted to heat, the input electrical that's converted to heat output, 100% using the power rule and Ohm's law, which is very simple. 100% of the input energy is being converted to heat. 0 energy is being converted to mechanical energy, and there's no physical way that can be performed anyways. And so 100% of the mechanical energy that's being produced by an electric motor is being produced and performed by electromagnetic field energy, which is created. And that's the end of video number 2. And the next video we'll be talking about generator armature reaction, electric vehicle regenerative braking, and how this is a form of negative work. It's, again, we're going to apply the work energy principle, which states that work in any direction, whether it's a kinetic energy increase or kinetic energy decrease, that work requires energy. And in electric generators, when generator armature reaction or electric vehicle regenerative braking is occurring, the deceleration of the vehicle is being produced by induced electromagnetic field energy, which is created inside the generator. So, see you on the next video. Thanks for now. Bye.